Jeremy from Disc Golf Deals USA. The Zone SS is a great straight flying disc with numbers 4, 4, -1, 2. This thing is great for backhand and surprisingly really good on sidearm, which is one of the main ways I like to use it. Well, now we got it in ESP plastic, and we also got the Holland Handley Special Blend Zone SS. Well, let's see how they fly. All right, first hole here, 234. We're gonna try to do a little sidearm. We're gonna see how stable this is. Now, it does have some turn to it, but does it still have some good, reliable hookup? All right, let's start with my good, reliable, straight flying Z. Holy cow. All right, well, that pretty much sums up the Zone SS right there. If you just wanna throw it dead straight, even through a 2-foot gap, it's your disc. All right, let's try a left route with the Holland. There we go. See how dead straight that goes? Man, I love it. So if you like a zone, you like flicking a zone, but you want something that just goes dead straight on a flick, Zone SS. All right, here's the new ESP one. Yes, dead straight, little hookup would be great. Let's go. Wow, wicked skip there, but man, really love this disc. Sidearm, dead straight all day long. So when it comes to 4-speed discs, the Zone is really up there with probably the greatest of all time discs out there. The fact that Discraft was bold enough to take that design and modify it a little bit, make it straighter. Yeah, we've already got the Zone OS, but who knew that we really needed a Zone SS? This thing is money. All right, the shot that got the closest was actually that really lucky dead straight shot. So we're gonna just putt from that one. Don't have my normal putters, but I do have my Luna Battle Pack here. These things are pretty sick. I think I got the ESP, like special blend, ESP plastic. I don't know if I'm wrong, you guys can tell me, but it is pretty interesting. One of the Lunas has the Ultra Star rings on the top. The other one doesn't. So let's try putting with both of these. Let's go with the ones with the Ultra Star Ultimate rings on the top. It is quite windy today, so let's see if we can get one of these in there. Let's go. Yeah, all right. Other Luna. All right, I guess they're both good. All right, next hole is a backhand hole. So we're going uphill, probably about 240 feet or so. So it'll be a good chance for us to test these out on backhand. All right, let's go with the Z1 first. Yeah, dead straight, slight turn. I mean, that's just ridiculous. This disc is so good. All right, let's try the ESP one, see if we can notice a difference in stability at all. All right, a little bit more turn to it. Okay, so the ESP one definitely had a little bit more turn to it than the Z1. All right, now Holland Special Blend. Yeah, there we go. And the Holland one is flying a lot like that Z1 parked under the basket. All right, so there's our first chance where we get to see stability differences. Looks like the ESP one might be just a little bit flippier than the other ones. Well, that's kind of interesting to see that ESP was definitely significantly flippier than the other two. If you guys have noticed that out there with the newer ESP runs, little flippier than maybe the Z, some of the special blends, let me know in the comments. I mean, we got Holland literally under the basket. The Z1's right here. See if we can knock this putt down. I actually do kind of like that little ring on the top for putting. It's not where my thumb normally goes, but it gives me a good spot to kind of stop my thumb. Not sure I would bag it, but it definitely is interesting. All right, this gauntlet hole is actually perfect for a slight turnover shot on a sidearm, which I gotta say, is tailor-made for the Zone SS. This should be perfect. Just start it nice and flat, and it should give us a little bit of a turn. All right, let's start with the Z1 as usual. Look at that. A little higher. I feel like that would have gone in the basket. All right, now let's go with the ESP. Let's see if we do get a little bit more turn out of it this time. Yeah, definitely way more turn. For sure, yeah. Yeah, it definitely has more turn than the Z1, for sure. All right, now let's try the Holland. Yeah, just dead straight, just slight turn, solid fade. Yeah, the Holland and the original Z, man, I gotta say, nice and straight, good, reliable fade at the end. New SP, definitely got some flip to it. All right, bonus Battle Pack Luna Ace. Not quite an ace, but man, Luna, dead straight, lots of glide. All right, so second time confirmed, ESP, definitely more flippy than the other runs, which I actually kind of like. This next hole is kind of a bigger, longer hole where we got a little bit more room to work a disc. So this should be kind of interesting. Maybe we can get a little hyzer flip out of that ESP zone. Closest one yet again is this good old Z Zone SS. I gotta tell you, that one's definitely the most consistent one so far. All right, this one's 288 feet. I mean, that's a big pump with a Zone SS. So let's see if we can get any of these close. Let's go with Mr. Consistent here. Z Plastic. Nice and straight. Yeah, let's go. Holy cow. Wow. Man, I'm telling you, this Z Zone SS, it's really showing up today. All right, now I'm a little curious with this one. Let's put a little hyzer on it. Let's see if we can get a little bit of a flip up to it. All right, little flip up. Solid. Wow. Good distance on that one too. Yeah, it's not like super flippy, but it's just a touch more flippy than that Z one. All right, now the Holland, nice and flat. I feel like every time I'm trying to compliment the Z Plastic one, the Holland one is like, hold my beer, I'm gonna do it better. Man, I tell you, these Zone SS's, every time I test them out, they just impress me all the time. Backhand, they bomb, they go dead straight. Sidearm, they go dead straight. And they got a nice glide on them too. I mean, this is a 288-foot shot, and I put 3 out of 3 inside the circle. Super impressed with this disc. All right, we got 1 Zone SS, 2 Zone SS, and our 3rd Zone SS right here, all inside circle. We're gonna go with the ESP one. It's a little further out. Let's see if we can get this birdie. Man, I tell you, this Ultra Star Luna, I'm really kind of digging the grip on it, at least for putting. Solid. Loving it. All right, final hole we're gonna do, not far, but sets up perfect for a nice little Anheuser slight turnover forehand shot, which should be right up the alley of these guys. Let's see if we can get at least one of them through. Kind of a tricky angle, but let's see if we can do it. Z Plastic up first. Yeah, got the gap, but notice doesn't have that turn like the ESP one does. All right, let's try the ESP. There we go. See, it's getting that turn. Oh, ace run. Let's go. Wow. Yeah, if you need something that's got a little bit more turn than the Z Zone SS, ESP's up your alley, baby. All right, one more with the Holland. We got to give it a little bit more angle. There we go. Oh, almost tree ace. All right, guys, I gotta say, this Zone SS is super money, and I actually really kind of like that this ESP one is flippier than the other ones, because it's always fun to have the same mold in your bag, but you have one that's kind of flippy, one that's overstable, one that's more stable. So I gotta say, the Holland and the Z Plastic Zone are money. I mean, they fly just like the numbers. You get a slight turn out of it and the nice 2 fade, whereas the ESP one is just kind of like a beat-in version of these other two. So I could see myself bagging the ESP one and then one of these in my bag. It's gonna fill a lot of shots in your bag and get you some birdies out on the course. Well, if you're looking to get some discs or disc golf equipment, head on over to Disc Golf Deals USA. Till I see you next time, peace out.